Uh, so, so everyone. Is my voice clear? Can you guys confirm if my voice is clear or not? Chat or something? Okay, fine. So can you lead towards the agent AI? So let me first discuss the agenda. Like what exactly we are trying to discuss, and then we'll try to understand more about how exactly we'll be implementing things, and will be first will I will talk about the agenda in this entire process, like what all things we'll be doing in this entire process. Okay. Can you confirm, guys, others, everyone, whether this is I'm audible or not? Others also it is same thing. It is not clear. Are you facing the same issue? It's clear now. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. So let's continue. First, the idea is of this particular session is to focus on the concept of the agentic AI, as you know. So first, let me talk about the agenda, what we'll be discussing in this session. Okay. So first thing is we'll be talking about what exactly is agentic AI. Okay. Then we'll understand what is the difference between agents versus LLMs, right? Like what is the main difference between agents and LLMs? And third is we'll talk about the leading frameworks, you know, which is responsible to perform, I mean, use to perform to build agents. Okay, the leading frameworks to build agents. What are the leading frameworks? Then we will be talking. We'll be doing some hands-on. Okay, hands-on, and this hands-on we'll be building agents using two frameworks basically. One is Creo AI and LangGraph, right? We'll be using two frameworks called as Creo AI and LangGraph, and
మీరు ఎక్కడ సార్ బేసిక్గా
I request you guys
అంటే
to
ఎట్లా లైక్
I request you guys to mute your microphones if you're not speaking. Okay? If you don't have any doubts or questions, please mute your microphones. Okay, fine. So this is the agenda for today. Like we'll understand the entire flow of this. Okay. And the thing is, the prerequisites for this particular agentic AI part is you should be understanding how to work with LLMs using Python, basic understanding of what is LLMs and basic understanding of how to work with LLMs. and how to work with basic libraries like LangChain, and how to work with basic integration of LangChain. That is the expectation for this particular course, for this particular session, actually, not course. Um, yeah, so that is the idea. So I request you to, I mean, however, if you actually don't have that idea also, I mean, if you are by any chance new to LLMs or new to the concept of Gen AI, that's okay. I mean, you can stay in the class and you can just understand. I will just explain accordingly. You can just understand the things, but uh, hands-on and everything you'll understand only if you have basic idea of how to work with basic LLMs and basic understanding of LangChain and other frameworks. But that's okay. I will explain every part of the code so you'll be able to get the concepts. That should not be a problem for you. Okay, fine. Now let's start with understanding what exactly is the agentic AI. Okay. See, before that, you should understand, the typical job of a LLM, right? What actually the LLM does, right? A typical large language model, we call it as, correct? We call it as a large language model, right? So if you use the large language models or LLMs previously, so what is the main job of this LLM models? Mainly it is to generate content, right? So given a text or given a prompt, given an instruction, we call it as, right? The main goal is whatever LLM you're having, whatever instruction you're giving, whatever instruction you'll be giving, based on that particular instruction, the main goal of this LLM is to generate the content, correct? Generate the content. Now, what kind of content it will generate? So it can generate maybe a text content, maybe it can generate a image content, or it can generate a video content, or it can generate maybe something like audio content also. So the main goal of an LLM model is to generate content based on the instruction you provide. Okay, that is the only main job of the LLM. So LLM is like a knowledge base. LLM is like which has the knowledge base, which has the entire. It was trained on lots of data, and based on the training, it can generate the content. Of course, if at all, if the question you asked or the instruction you have asked is not part of the training data, or if it is not part of the existing information what LLM knows, maybe you will apply the RAG approach, right? We discussed about the RAG approach previously. So you can apply the RAG approach, and then what you can do is you can just provide a you know additional context to the LLM in the form of an instruction itself, right? And you can do that. That is we call it as LLM. Okay, that is what LLM can do. But the thing is, LLMs are not responsible to do advanced tasks. When I say advanced tasks, like for example, you want to like send an email, right? Send an email, or for example, you want to, right? For example, you want to mm, book a cab or book an appointment. Okay? Book an appointment, right? So these kind of things LLMs cannot do. Why? Because LLMs are only to generate content. It does not have enough tools. It does not have enough, capabilities to do this. For example, if you want to send an email, it needs your like the email information, or it needs your access. It needs the access to do that, but it doesn't have the typical LLMs or ChatGPT, or I mean ChatGPT is again agent. Let's not talk about that. But the GPT-4 models or the Llama models doesn't have that access. Or if you want to book a cab, you need to give the access of the Uber, but it doesn't have that access. Uber or Ola, right? Ola or Uber or any kind of cab booking app. Or if you want to book an appointment, you have to give the access of your calendar and everything, but it doesn't have that. So LLM is only right now responsible for generating the content. Or for example, if you want to research on new topic. Now LLM cannot research on new topic because it was only trained with the existing or old data. If it want to search for new trends or new topic, it cannot do that because it was trained. It will be having a cutoff date. Every LLM will be having a cutoff date. For example, if I just go to ChatGPT and ask it to ask for the cutoff date, it will give me some random cutoff date, right? So every LLM will be having its own cutoff date. For example, I'll ask, what is your, you know, cut off date? Okay. So for example, if I ask this, it says, okay, my cutoff date is June 2024. So means what? If you ask it to research about any new trends or new things, it will be failing because the model is only capable of answering questions or doing some research or doing something which is up to June 2024. About June 2024, you have to manually provide the data. So that is a point. So it cannot do all these kind of things. Right? It cannot do the task. So that is where the concept of agentic AI came into the picture, right? The concept of agentic AI came into the picture. So in the concept of agentic AI, what happens is you are basically building agents. Now you should understand what is agent first thing. Okay, you should understand what is agent. So agent is something which will be helping us to perform, like, agent is a autonomous unit. Okay, we can call it as an autonomous unit. Okay, agent, we can call agent as an autonomous unit, right? So what is an autonomous means obviously which can perform things automated way. Like, so basically we have automations from very long back on, even from many long years ago we are having this like automations. But what is special right now is, in the previous automations, we were not having the intelligence. But now, in the current automation, we are having the intelligence. So that is the difference here. Okay. So here we can say agent is nothing but a typical agent. If I say what is an agent, okay, it is just an autonomous unit which can perform tasks, okay, which can perform tasks with help of the tools, right? With help of the tools. Basically, you will be giving some, tools access, and it can do this. It can automate your work. It can automate things with help of the tools. It will utilize the tools, and based on that particular tools, it will automate specific tasks. For example, the task which I just gave, like for example, sending an email or booking a cab. So now the thing is, we can actually perform automation without, generally also means we have automations from long back ago. But what is the difference between normal automation and agentic AI is, which can perform tasks with help of tools and the LLMs. Now we have the extra thing, that is the LLM. That is, we have this LLM which can actually take decisions by its own. In the previous case, automations were just rules. That's it, right? During the old automations which we were building in companies, those were just tools. There was no intelligence involved there. So there should be having human intervention to do some kind of decisions. But now because of the LLM, you have very less human intervention, right? You'll be having a very less human intervention. With minimal human intervention, you can achieve the autonomy. Okay, that is the main goal, because the LLM can make the decisions. The LLMs can make the decisions. So it's nothing but, what is an agent is nothing but, if I talk about an agent, is something who has the access to the LLMs to make decisions, who have access to the tools to perform the task, use these tools and perform a task, and it also has have the some memory, right? It is having some memory. And the main goal of an agent is to perform a task, right? So if you see the difference here clearly, In the previous case, you were giving the instruction to the LLM to generate content. But now to an agent, you'll give a task. You'll give a task, and the agent will use these tools. It will use LLM as a brain, like LLM will be acting like a brain. Okay. Use this LLM, use these tools, and use the memory, because memory is to just store what it has done previously. That's it. Okay. And then you get the result of the task. You get the result of the task. Whatever task you have asked, okay, you can get the result of the task. That is what the agent is all about. Okay. You give a so for an agent, what is the input? Agent for an agent, the input is a task. And for the respective task, you're giving the access for the tools. And tools can be anything. Tools can be your simple. You can give a tool as a search tool. Like you can ask LLM to search in the internet. So search is a tool. Or you can give a email tool to send an email. You can give a WhatsApp tool to send a WhatsApp message on behalf of you, right? You can give a. There are a lot of tools available. I'll also show the list of available predefined tools, and you can also create your custom tools. You can create your custom tools accordingly. So according to, I mean, it's completely our wish. Like if you want to create custom tools or if you want to create your own tools, I'll also show you how to create custom tools. So that is the idea. The agent is all about, using these tools, using the memory, using the brain. It will try to, you know, give a result based on the task you actually do. Okay. And here sometimes what happens is the task which you want to do might not be a simple task. See, if you're having a simple task, fine. You might have a single agent, but sometimes your task might be so complex. In that case, some agents might fail. Single agent might fail. So, for example, imagine. So, don't. So, how do you relate this? Means simply, agent is nothing but a human. I mean, artificial human. You can assume because it's having a brain. It is having the tools to do something, and it can do the action. It can perform the action for you. It can perform a task for you, right? Now the point here is, imagine a employee of a company. Okay, he's given a task. Now, if he's given a simple task, maybe he'll complete in 1 day, 2 day, right? Uh, Maybe if he is given a complex task, maybe he need more time to complete. Maybe sometimes one single employee cannot complete the task. Maybe let's assume he has a task is of deployment of a huge application. Now, one single employee cannot deploy the entire huge application, right? There should be a lot of people. There should be security people. One person who is expert at security. One person who is expert at, you know, maintaining the logs. One person who is expert at, writing this Docker files and for deploying purpose. Like that, for every in generally when we are having a complex task, we'll have a dedicated people who can actually do the task such that they can collaboratively complete. That is where the concept of multi-agent framework also comes in picture. Okay, so we just talked about a single agent, and what is the job of a single agent? Just take a task and perform the task using the tools and the LLM and give the result. That is a main goal. Okay, so here the goal of agent is not to generate content. Okay, of course, using agent you can also generate content, but that is not the ultimate goal. The goal of agent is to do the task, whatever task it might be. A task can be generating content also, or sending an email also, or it can be a booking a cab also. It can be any kind of task. Okay, searching in the online also is a task. So it can be any task. We are not worried about what type of task it is, but the main goal of agent is not to generate. It is to perform the task. Okay. Now the point is we talked about single agent framework of single agent. So, okay. So any questions till any questions as of now? Understood till now? Any questions as
Understood.
of now? Perfect. So now coming to the multi-agent framework. So when you're having a very complex task, okay, if you're having a very huge task, sometimes what happens, a single LM, and according to my experience and according to the whatever I've seen through my peers and my other research, what I've done, most of the cases, if you give multiple tasks to LM, okay, if you give multiple instructions to LM to do multiple tasks, it will fail. At least in one or two tasks, it will fail. So it is not recommended to give multiple instructions or multiple tasks to a single LM or a single agent. So that is the reason why the concept of multi-agent framework came into the picture. So in multi-agent framework, what happens is you will have same task you'll be having, but it can be a complex task. You can have a single task or you can have a multiple task. And these two tasks can be related to each other. The two tasks, or you can have a complex task. Okay, you can have a complex task, okay, which can be divided into multiple subtasks. Okay, you're having one complex task. That is the thing we do, right? Always when you're having a very complex task, whenever we want to assign it to someone, if you're having multiple workers, if you're having multiple people, you'll divide that complex task into multiple subtasks and you'll be assigning to different people. So here also, you can have a complex task, which is having multiple subtasks, like subtask one and subtask two, right? And what you'll do here is, now you will have, see now we're having two tasks, okay? You can do one thing. Either you can give that two tasks to single agent or you can give two agents. Now that is again your wish. If you give to single agent, yeah, it will work. But if you actually dedicate two separate agents, that is a more better, more better option. That is where the concept of multi-able agent framework comes into the picture. So what happens is in this multiple agent framework, you'll be having two agents and each agent is responsible to do the same thing what you have seen previously. But this time what happens is you'll give a two separate tasks to this agent. I mean, maybe you'll give subtask one to agent one and subtask two to agent two. But the thing is, but the good news is this two agent will be contacting each other. Like they'll be collaborative. Like maybe agent one will complete a task and give that output to agent two, or agent two will complete and give that output to agent two. Like they will be collaborative. Like they both can work together. Like it's like two workers collaborating with each other and working to do a task. So they'll collaborate with each other and working, and finally you'll give a result. You get a result. That is a multi-agent framework. Okay. So yeah, if you're having a complex task, obviously you should go with a multi-agent framework where they collaborate with each other, where they work with each other, and they can ultimately perform a complex task also. So that is the thing. I mean, now dividing of two subtasks is your job. Okay, like you have to decide, like how to divide this into subtasks, or you can also have one more agent who can actually divide your complex task into two subtasks. That is also one thing. So like that you can work with agent. So agent is all about performing actions, performing tasks based on your uh, this one. Okay. So this is the concept of what is an agent. Okay. I hope you understood. Agent is something which is responsible for that. So yeah. So just look at this, few points such that you'll understand what is agent is all about. Okay. So it's like it's an autonomous software entities that act to achieve goals, right? Uh, and this agent operates independently to accomplish predefined tasks or objectives. Okay. Then AI agents analyze the surroundings, make decisions based on analysis, and take action accordingly. It is like beyond simple Q&A. So like normal chatbots, if you see the simple chatbots, if you see those are simple. Uh, okay. Is it for everyone? Everyone are facing the same issue? Is my voice not clear?
Your voice is clear for us.
Okay, fine. Just let me know if at all my voice is not clear or something like that. Let me know, please. Okay, so what I'm saying is, yeah, so agents are something which will go beyond the simple Q&A. Like if you see a simple chatbot or a simple chat GPT kind of thing, those are the type of agents which only focus on giving question and answers, like we already learned, generating content. But AI agents are something which is go beyond that. Okay, so that is the main idea. Okay, like unlike the traditional LLMs, AI agents can process advanced tasks. Okay, that is the main goal of the AI agents. Now, one important thing I also want to say is if you see Chat GPT, okay, I guess regularly you will be using this concept of this Chat GPT, right? This Chat GPT is also an agent, okay, which is running under one model that is GPT-4, right? GPT-4o. So if you see, you'll be finding out which model it is running here. So it is GPT-4o. So it is also an agent because if you see, there is option of tools here. You can see that So whichever, this is just not a simple LLM, a raw model which answer your questions. It is ChatGPT is also an agent. Okay, that is one important thing you have to understand. I can say ChatGPT is one of the first agent in this world, right? Yeah. So ChatGPT is also an agent. ChatGPT is an agent because is an agent because this is not just answering your questions, right? It is also having the access of these tools. It also has memory, and it can use these tools to do things for you. Like for example, now if I take only without an agent, if I take only a GPT-4 model, right? GPT-4o model, GPT-4o. GPT-4o is nothing but the model, which is the LLM model, right? It is the LLM model used for ChatGPT. Okay. Now ChatGPT is using this GPT-4o as a backend as LLM to answer your questions and do a task actually. More clearly, it's answering your questions and also doing a task. Now, for example, if I ask it to, you know, generate a image of, you know, AI CEO. Okay. For example, if I just of AI, if I just say this now, if you observe here, it will use a tool called as DALI. Okay, there is one tool called as DALI internally. Okay, and it will use that tool in order to generate the image. Okay, so that is one important thing. Or for example, if I ask any question which is not part of the existing, knowledge of the ChatGPT, it will try to, search in the internet and do. So that is again a tool. So you can see searching the web is a tool. Create an image is a tool. Now, whatever we have just used is actually creating an image, right? So now creating an image is a tool. Okay. Like if you see, it is creating a tool, I mean, the memory. Now, there can be something like this. I can ask like, uh, is the current, you know, current season of it's okay. For example, if I say this now, see, we know that the cutoff date is for June 2024. Now, maybe if you want to know the current president, if at all it is not having the tools access of searching the web, maybe it might not be able to do that. But if you actually do that, now you can see it is searching the web. Searching the web is actually using the tools access. It is actually searching in the internet. And you can see as of May 31st, the current president is, see now, because it has the tools access and because it is able to search in the internet, it can also tell what happened after June 2024. Because even though the model which we are using is cutoff date is June 2024, but still it is having the access of the internet because you have this tools access. You gave it tools access, that is searching the web, and it is able to search in the internet and give you the accurate information instead of giving some random information. That is the idea here. If you don't have this, if you don't give this tools access, it is not true. That is the idea of agent. Agent is like, this is the agent. This is a perfect example of an agent. Now, if you talk about normal LLM cannot do this, but the agent can do this. Okay, so that is a difference. Okay, fine. So it is now you can see it has generated the image of an AI CEO, right? You can clearly see. Uh, and here internally it is using a tool called as DALI. Okay, DALI is one of the model by GPT, and it is using that tools. That is, you can see create an image. We'll do that through code also. Right now we'll be doing similar thing through code, so you can see that. So that is the idea. That is how the ChatGPT also work even. So you can see it is having create an image, search the web, writing a code tool, run deep research, think for longer. Think for longer will means kind of reasoning model. So like that, it is having some tools to do that. So ChatGPT is an agent. Okay, like I said, ChatGPT is an agent. So in that way, ideally, that is what an agent is all about. Okay. Now, I hope you also understood what is the main difference between AI agent and also the LLMs, right? I hope you got that also. What is the difference between the mainly the AI agent and the LLMs? So I'll just show these differences to you. I have that differences. Just a second. Just a second. Yeah. So I have that differences for you guys, which I have created. I mean, which I have already generated. So I can show these differences to you guys right now. Yeah. So you can just see the differences between a AI agent and a LLM. I hope you got this point. So if you see this, the main nature of an AI agent is task oriented, right? But LLM is prompt. The example is not ChatGPT because now ChatGPT is also an agent. Autonomy, it is having a very high I mean, it can be automated. It is a very highly autonomous unit. But this is not an autonomous unit. It is just generating content. Okay. So tools, it is having the built-in, that is the idea, right? And obviously to LLMs, we have to generate it with this. And context window. So it depends upon the type of integration you're doing in the context, in terms of context. Like you can also give a long-term memory like file storage and everything. Okay. And here this GPT-4 and these are all the models, LLM models. But if I talk about the agentic AI, ChatGPT is an example for the AI agent. So like this, you can actually understand what is the main difference between AI agent versus LLMs. Okay. Now let's talk about the leading frameworks. Okay, which is with, for AI agents, for building AI agents, the leading frameworks. If you now you understood what is a AI agent and what is the main difference between AI agent and LLMs, right? We'll talk about what are the leading frameworks for building AI agents. All right. So what I will do here is for understanding the leading frameworks, I will divide this into two parts. Okay. One is the frameworks which are high code, right? The frameworks which are high code means high code in the sense these frameworks you should write the code. You should write the code and you should build the agents, and then the agents which are low code means you don't need to write a code for this. Just these are flows. You can just create some simple workflows and you can build these agents. Now coming to the high code agents, high code framework, sorry, you're having one framework called as lang graph. Okay. This is basically a type of framework which uses graph based structure to create agents. Graph based structure. Like if you see what is a graph, again, don't think graph is a visual representation like this. Not this graph I'm talking about. Not this graph. Graph is nothing but a flowchart kind of thing. Okay. Like this. You might see these kind of things, right? This is a flowchart. This is what the graph is. So the lang graph is based on the graph-based structure. It will create a flow-based structure accordingly. I will discuss more about that once we are exploring this. Then you are having something called as Crew AI, which is trending right now. I mean, these are the trending frameworks. All whatever I'm writing here are the trending frameworks. Crew AI. So here this Crew AI is based on task, role, uh, you have to give a role, backstory, and everything. Again, this is a simple, I mean, QAI is simple one compared with LangGraph. Some QAI is simple to create a agent. And then you're having something called as Agno, which is also one of the leading framework. Previously, this Agno was called as PyData. Previously, it was called as PyData. Now it is called as Agno. Then there is something called as AutoGen by Microsoft. This is also one of the leading framework to create build agents. Okay. So these are the few I can say, etc. Because there are, if I just go on writing this list, there are so many frameworks available for creating agents, but these are the famous ones like LangGraph, PreAI, and AutoGen and Acno are the famous high code based frameworks for building the, building the agents. Whereas if you want to go for low code, because a lot of companies are also shifting to low code right now. Means low code in the sense, you don't write a code or much code to build these agents. Just you can just drag and drop and you can build these agents. Okay, those are called as low code based systems. Okay, so in this one of the famous framework is N8N. N8N is drastically improving right now. Lot of companies and lot of people are using N8N for working with low code. And second one is lang flow. Again, if you see LangGraph, LangFlow, these all are based on the LangChain. Okay, if you heard about LangChain or if you have used LangChain, so these are from the LangChain family itself, LangGraph and LangFlow. Okay, LangGraph is an echo tool and LangFlow is a low code. Then you're having something called as Flowwise, right? So this is also one of the tool, one of the framework to create agents without code. Okay, Flowwise. And etc. Like there are a lot of there are a lot of low code tools also, but these are the framework famous ones in 8 and Flow and Flowwise. So like this, these are the few frameworks you should explore. I mean, the thing is, it is not compulsory that you should understand or know all the frameworks. Two or three would be fine. So maybe in the iCode, you can explore about LangGraph and PrevAI. Okay. And in the low code, maybe you can explore about N8N, and LangFlow is optional. N8N is enough. Okay. So like that, you can just, in your portfolio, you can use this, you can put LangGraph, PrevAI and N8N in your portfolio. In the concept of agentic AI, such that you will be good at low code and also high code tools. Okay. So these are the leading frameworks in the concept of agentic AI. Okay, now what we'll do is we'll try to start with the hands-on. Okay, let's start with hands-on right now. I hope you understood the things. How can we do it? Now, as a part of hands-on, I will start with iCode. iCode. So we'll complete the iCode first, and if time permits, I'll show low code today. Okay. So coming to the iCode concept, um, let me talk about the framework which we'll be discussing. First, we'll start with KVI. So Creo AI is very simple, okay? Very simple framework to create agents compared with the other frameworks we have. So first we'll start with Creo AI and I'll explain you how can you create agents using Creo AI. Then we'll also see LangGraph. We'll see both, okay? Uh, you can easily get if you understand first Creo AI, LangGraph you can easily get, okay? So first we'll start with Creo AI. So how do you do that, Miss? See, I'll also show the documentation of these frameworks. So if at all, if you want to improve building agents, or if you want to modify something, you can just have a look into this documentation and easily you can do things. Because now most of the times you should always look at documentation. Documentation is a very important part right now because every time things changes regularly. Okay, so understanding documentation and working with documentation, looking at documentation is very important. Okay, chalo. So first we'll start with uh, looking at the Crew AI. So you can just search for Crew AI in the Google, right? So this is the official, website of Crew AI, which says it's a leading multi-agent platform. Yes, it is leading multi-agent platform. It is famous. A lot of companies and people are using it. So let me show you how can you do that. So in this Crew AI, there is an option of open source. If you click on open source, there is an option of open source. And here you can see there is one command like pip install Crew AI, which is the Python package to actually work with Crew AI. So if you just click on that, you will be able to see the documentation of Crew AI. Okay, if you click on this pip install Crew AI, you'll be able to see the documentation of Crew AI, which are all Crew AI, which is having all the information like every information about the Creo AI. Okay. So now first, let me talk about the main important things you have to understand to build Creo AI. In order to build agents using Creo AI, what all things you should understand. Okay. First thing, you should understand what is an agent. You know that. Obviously, you know what is an agent. We already learned about it. Okay. Then you should know about what is a task. Task also, like a task is something which agent performs, like agent does. Then the role. Okay, like what role the AI, the agent should do. Okay, then you should understand something called as crew. Crew is nothing but the multi-agent. In Crew AI, when you are working with Crew AI, Crew is nothing but a multi-agent. Like you say generic English term. What is the general English term of crew? Multiple workers, right? You say crew. Here is my crew. Means what? Multiple agents, right? So same way, like multi-agent. If you want to build multiple agent, that is a crew. Of course, for multi-agent, or we can also use. We'll be using crew for multi-agent and also single agent, because single agent is also crew. Means workers. You can say crew is nothing but a worker. Okay, so these are the things you have to understand. So if you just go to the documentation of QA, you will have a complete understanding of what are this actually. Okay, so if I just go to agents, okay, so you can see what the agents is all about. So in Crew AI, agent is an autonomous unit. That is what I told you already, right? What it is responsible for? It is responsible for performing tasks, making decision based on role and goal. So you'll be providing some role and goal to the agent. Okay, remember this. Okay. When you're Nikki, Nikki. See guys, if you are not speaking, please don't unmute your microphone. If you're having any question, yes, you can unmute your microphone and speak. And if you're not having any question, please mute your microphone such that it will not trouble others. Thank you. So yeah, so agent is responsible to so you can see you will be having this role and goal. You'll understand what is role and goal, because when you are working with Crew AI, you have to compulsory give this role and goal. And obviously tools access, because I told you already, agent is something which will be having tools access to accomplish the objectives. And also it can communicate and collaborate with other agents. Like if you're building a multi-agent framework, you can communicate with other agents and collaborate with that. And then maintain memory of interactions, for because memory is also a very important thing you have to focus on. So just a second. Yeah. So memory is also one thing you have to focus on, because if it doesn't have memories, cannot talk with other agents and or remember what it has done previously. So it should have some in memory thing. And also delegation. Delegation is nothing but it is also helpful when you're working with multiple agents. Like if you want to, a agent can assign a task to other agent. Okay, delegation is all about assigning. Okay, so for example, agent 1 and agent 2 is doing something. Now agent 1 want to assign some task to agent 2. That is what it can do, right? Based on the task and based on the complex task, it want to assign some task. That is again delegation is all about. Okay, so these are the things agents can do. Okay, this is the overview of the agent, what exactly agent can do in the Crew AI. Then you're having some tasks. Here you can see, if I just go to the tasks, these are the tasks. So whenever you're creating agents in Crew AI, you should also work on task. Like what is a task? It's a detailed guide on managing and create tasks within the Crew AI framework. In Crew AI framework, task is a specific assignment completed by an agent. Okay, we already know that, right? So tasks provide all the necessary details for execution, such as description, the agent responsibility, the required tools. Okay, and all these things we'll mention. Like we'll give all this access, and it can do the task. Okay, um, and task with QA can be collaborative, requiring multiple agents to work together. This can be managed task towards task properties and all those things. Okay, and crews. Crew is nothing but the multi-agent framework, right? So understanding and utilizing crew needed. So if you want to create multiple agents, you can use crew AI. Sorry, crew. Of course, for single agent also we'll be using crew. Okay, fine. So this is the basic documentation. Okay. So now we'll use this information, and also if you see, along with agent, task, and crew, one important thing is LLMs, because you know that agent required LLM, right? Because without LLM, agent is just an automation, or just a simple automation. That's it. There is no intelligence involved there, correct? Because we are doing automations before AI itself. But now the rise of AI, we are having LLMs which can think accordingly. So what is LLM? LLM is nothing but which is a core intelligence, right? You can see in the concept of agents, will be acting like a core intelligence behind the QA agent. Means if you want to think something, if you want to make decisions, you should have that intelligence, right? That LLM will provide that intelligence. Okay. And the good news is in QA, you can use any LLM you want. If you want to use OpenAI GPT, you can use it. If you want to use Llama's API or Meta Llama, like if you want to use the Llamas, you can use that. Anthropic Claude, if you want to use Claude models, you can use it. Google Gemini models, yes. Vertex AI, yes. Azure models, AWS Bedrock, uh, Amazon SageMaker. Like you can see, even it also provides you the access of Olama. Okay, like if you have explored about local LLMs and how to, host LLMs in Google Colab using Olama. Okay, if you attended my previous sessions. So this is again a thing which you can do, right? You can actually give a Olama access. You can also make LLM use the Olama, the Olama or local LLMs and do that. Okay, or if you want to give a access of Hugging Face, right? If you want to give the access for Hugging Face, that is also possible. Right? You can download the Hugging Face model and do that. So whichever LLM you want to use, you can actually happily use it. It is not compulsory that this should be used and that should not be used. Okay, that is a point in Privy AI. Okay, and yeah, so and then you're having something called as processes. In processes, you're having sequential, hierarchical, and hybrid consensual process. But this one we'll see later on. You'll understand once we build a multi-agent framework. You'll understand what is process science and collaboration. This all comes under when you're working with multi-agent framework. Okay. So okay, fine. Now what we'll do is with this understanding, we'll try to create a simple agent and also we'll try to create a multiple agent using Privy AI. Okay. So let me go to the code. Okay, I already have the code. So I'll just go through each and every line of the code such that you'll understand what is happening here. At any point of time, if you're having any question or a doubt to, you can ask me. Okay, that is not a problem. And yeah, just have a look into this code. So also there are some requirements to, run this code. I'll be sharing the requirements later on. But if you want to get this code, I'll be sharing that right now, right away, such that you can, maybe do along with me, if at all. Role is part of the agent. Okay. If you observe here, we have seen that. If you see an agent, yeah. Okay. Role and goal, basically. Hello. Now coming to this. Yeah. So I'll be, sharing this codes with you guys. You can also, if you want, you can just have a look into the code when I'm explaining you, or you can also do it later. So let me explain you what exactly I'm doing right now. I'm creating an agent using Crew AI to perform a research on a specific topic. So I'll be just giving a specific topic to the agent, and what I'll be doing here is I'll be just trying to give a specific topic and I'll ask it to do a research. Now the point is for this task, as I told you already, LLM will be having a limited knowledge. But if I want to focus on the beyond knowledge LLM, I should give it a task to search in the internet. That is where the concept of DuckDuckStore search will be coming into the picture. So if you see here, what I'm doing here is, here I'm using a library called as LangChain. Okay. And from LangChain, I'm just first importing this tool called as DuckDuckGo, which is basically, if you know, DuckDuckGo is a web browser, right? If you know, like how do we have Google search in the same way, not web browser, but it's a search engine. Okay. DuckDuckGo is a search engine. So what we are doing here is from LangChain, we are importing that option, that DuckDuckGo, which is responsible to search something in the internet and give you some result. Okay. Now you can ask me, why don't we use Google search? Yeah, we can use Google search, but for that we have to create we have to create an API key. Like Google search is not like direct, they'll give you like DuckDuckGo. So you have to create an API key. But I'll also show you how can you integrate a Google search tool also into this. I have other example for Google search tool. But first we start with the free version, like DuckDuckGo is free, open source, you can directly use it without an API key also. Okay. So first we're importing OS, so like simple operating system, and then we are importing this DuckDuckGo search for, this is like a tool. So in LangChain community, it's a library. In this tool, we're having this, and we're importing requests, and also we are importing from Crew AI because we want to build a we want to actually use Crew AI for working with LLMs. I mean, for working with agents. Sorry. So from Crew AI, we're importing something called as agent to create agent. We are creating something called as task to create task. Then we are importing something called as crew, and also we're importing process. Okay, these all things you'll understand what is this agent, what is task, and what is crew slowly once you go down the I mean, once you proceed further. Okay, just we are importing agent, task, crew, and process from the Crew AI. Okay. Then also we have to give LLM access, right? So if you see the documentation of Crew AI, all these things you have seen: agent, task, crews, process, and also the LLM. So all these things were importing. Also from Crew AI, we're importing something called as LLM, or obviously for giving the LLM access to the agent. Okay. Then what happens is I'm initializing the search tool. Okay. Here what is happening. So I'll also write the code for you. Here I'll just initialize the search tool. Now, why do I need to do that? First, to give that access of this to the agent, I'm doing that. But here I'm just searching. I'm just checking whether the tool is working fine or not. So you can just do this tool.run, and you can just do some query. Like generally you do Google search, right? Like that, you can just put some query like who is president, or um, what is AI, something like that. It will search in the internet, and it will give you all the. This is the information which you got from the internet, okay? Because that was searches. Now what I'm doing is I want to create a agent which will research on specific topic, right? So and also I'm giving the search access to the agent. So what I'll be doing is first I will create a tool. Okay. So I should so this is actually this DuckDuckGo search is actually a LangChain tool. It's a LangChain tool, not the Crew AI tool. Okay. It's a LangChain tool. Now, if I want to use this LangChain tool in Crew AI to convert this into a Crew AI compatible format. So what I'm doing is I'm creating a custom tool. Okay. Here, this is the method to create a custom tool in Crew AI. Custom tool in Crew AI. Okay. So what I'm doing is, we know that if I just do this search dot run and give the search query, it will give me the result, right? So what I'm doing is I'm creating a function called as, doc search or DuckDuckGo search. Okay. And what this does is it will take the query, okay, which is in string format, and it will return whatever it has ran. Okay. And this is acting like a Crew AI tool. So what I'm doing by doing like this is a decorator. Okay. This is a decorator. So by doing this decorator, and basically what I'm doing is I'm creating a custom tool which performs this operation. That's it. And what it do, what action it is performing? It is trying to search for the internet. Okay, that is the idea. This tool is searching for the internet. Okay, this is a tool. So what I'm doing, I'm creating. So actually, if you directly use QA tools, this is not required. Okay, that is the next. I'll show you that also next. Okay, by I'll show you some examples where you directly using QA tools, because in QA also there are a lot of tools available. If I just go to the QA documentation, if you just go to the QA documentation, if you just scroll down to the tools, you can see there are a lot of tools like web scraping and browsing, and also you're having document tools like PDF to read PDF and all those things. Like that, there are a lot of tools available, databases, okay, search and research. Lot of tools are available, but these tools require the API keys and everything. So but DuckDuckGo is free, so that is the reason what we are doing this. And also I want to show you how to create a custom tool in Crew AI, not the existing tools also I'll show, but I'll also show you custom tool. So this is how you can create a custom tool of, or a tool like a function which perform a task. Okay, it will search something. So this is how you can actually convert your, I mean, this will convert it. Okay, fine. Now tool is fine. Then also you should give the LLM access, correct? You should also give the LLM access to the agent, right? Or else it cannot do anything, right? Agent is something which has LLM memory and everything. So here you're creating something called as research LLM. And this LLM I'm just importing from the Creo import LLM, right? Now here LLM, as I told you already, you can use any LLM. If you look at the documentation of the Creo AI, you can clearly see, if I just go to LLMs, you can use LLM, any LLM. For example, if I want to use OpenAI's LLM, right? OpenAI GPT-4 LLM, then I can just go to LLMs here. Here there is an option of OpenAI. Just click on this. You have a code here, right? Just copy and paste it. That's it. Or you can use this code, like from Creo import LLM and just use. And here, if you carefully observe, there is model, which model they are using. So it is OpenAI GPT. Now I don't want to use OpenAI GPT-4. I want to use GPT 4.0 or something. You can change the model. Okay. And next one is if you want to change to Gemini. Okay. Just go to Google and just here you can see. You can just change it to go Gemini's explorative model. So it's very easy. Like just you can just change the model name. That's it. It will accordingly call the model explorative model. There is no need to worry about it. Okay. So I'm just creating a OpenAI LLM, and here you can see I'm giving the parameters like temperature, max tokens, stop T, frequency penalty, and presence penalty. So we already talked about this LLM parameters, right? This is the basic foundation. So you can see whatever you learned till now was like a foundation for agent. So all these things will be the parameters for the LLM. Okay. Then what you are doing is now you will create an agent. Okay. As I told you already, agent is something which performs a task, which is responsible to do a task, right? So you are creating a researcher agent and you are using the agent class. And by using this agent class from the Creo AI, you are creating an agent. So you can see it's very easy. Just you have to give the agent. And for agent guys, compulsory, you have to give three factors. For an agent, whenever you are creating an agent, you have to compulsory give three things. One is the role, means what is the role of the agent? Because like role is nothing but what it is responsible to perform. For example, in every company, you'll be having a role, maybe AI engineer or a backend developer or a UI developer. What is his role? He has to do something. In the same way, agent is also like a worker for us, or like an employee for us. So he's doing what? He's a senior research analyst. So like that, he's a role. Okay, role is one thing. Then what is the goal of that agent? Okay. What is the goal? Like what that agent should do? Okay, his ultimate goal. Just a second. Sorry for the interruption, guys. It was a call. Okay, fine. No. Actually, I'm not speaking. For the call. Sorry for that. Yeah. So the agent. So the agent is responsible for doing some role for the specific role. So role is like what role, what it has to do, right? What it has to do, and the goal is like what goal. I mean, what it is responsible for. Okay, it is a senior research analyst, but research means it can do research on different fields. So a Google is something which can do specific things, like for example, uncover cutting edge developments in the field of computer science, something like that. Okay. Next, backstory. Like you can have a small backstory kind of thing, like what it has previously done, what it has done, what it is doing, like a kind of like every employee will be having his own backstory, right? Something like that. So you work at a leading so and so company. Your expertise lies in identifying emerging trends. You have a knack of dissecting complex data and presenting actionable insights. Something like that. You're just, giving a backstory. You can just give your own backstory to the agent, okay, which will be helping the agent to, do a better job. So you should be tweaking this a lot. Whenever you're working with agent, you'll be tweaking this a lot, like the goal and the role. Now, once this is done, I mean, once you have created this, yeah, once you have this, then also along with role, goal, and backstory, obviously the LLM, like which LLM it has to use to perform this, whatever task or whatever role it has. The research LLM, like it's a brain for the agent. I told you about it. Okay, the LLM, the OpenAI GPT-4. Verbose is equal to true means just to print the status, like whenever it is doing a task or whenever it is doing something to print the status, you will use this workforce. Okay, and the tools it is having the access here. The tools is in form of list. Okay, right now I'm giving only one tool access, but agent can be given multiple tool access. Okay, for a single agent, you can give multiple tool access. Right now I'm giving only one tool because it is a form of list. For example, if you want to give another tool access, you can do comma some other tool. Okay. So because the tool is something, but what agent have the access to. You can give multiple tools. Agent will decide based on the task which you give. It will automatically decide which tool you have to choose. You can also give n number of tools to this. It will automatically decide like which tool is better for me, which tool I can use, which tool is not good. Like that, you can decide, and it automatically decide. You don't have to worry about you know we don't have to worry about that tools which tool use for which. It will automatically decide. The agent will automatically decide like what tools to use and which tool to use. Okay, just to give the list of tools, that's it. It will automatically decide. Okay, so that is the idea. So you will have the researcher agent who is responsible to this. Okay, clear? Clear with this part? Any questions? And here you can see the tool is created here, and I'm just creating that tool and just giving that here. Okay, DD research. Okay, so I'm just giving that in this, which is, I mean, this will be using this particular tool in order to access the, I mean, in order to perform the task. Okay, clear? Any specific questions? No, 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 just multi-line. That's it. Multi-line. That is, there is no specific reason for that. Just just it's a multi-line thing. Okay. And this is the tool, okay, which is already created, ADC search. Okay, so we'll be using this particular tool in order to use it. Chalo. Okay, so once we have done this, once we give this particular tool to the agent, it will, it is just an agent now. We have not yet given the task, so we have just created an agent. Okay, so basically agent is something which is defined for already one role and goal. Okay, task you can make it dynamic. Task you can make it dynamic, but agent is, so for example, you're an AI engineer. Okay, imagine you're AI engineer. You'll be AI engineer maximum times, right? You'll not suddenly change it to UI developer, or you'll not suddenly change it to UX developer. If you want to have another agent, it'll be another person or another agent. Okay, so this agent is dedicated. You'll be having a dedicated role, goal, and a backstory. Okay, if you want to change it, obviously you can take like a variables and change it. Okay, put in a variable and change it if you want to. You can do that, but that is not recommended. But because for agent it should be, you should change it accordingly. Okay, but for task you're right. For task, even though I gave it like this, you can create like a variable. Like you can say, you can just make it as, the research task description. Okay, and you can just give that task. Now you can see I'm just creating a task right now for LLM. And this can be dynamic because task can be changing anything. Today I'll ask something about AI. Tomorrow I'll ask something to research on NLP. Tomorrow, day after tomorrow I'll ask about something else. So you can see, I can just, it is just a simple, a task. Like what is a task? Conduct a comprehensive analysis of the latest advancements in AI in 2025 to identify key trends, breakthrough technologies, and potential impacts. Okay, this is a task. Now, for doing this task, see, you can ask me for doing this, I can just directly use LLM, right? But LLM will not have the access of tools. So you're using agent, which have the access of search tool. It will use that tool, conduct this research, and give you the answer. Okay. So that is the thing. And also, you can also give for the task, you can give description. A description indicates what task it has to do. Okay. What task it has to do. Okay. It can be dynamic. It can be dynamic. And expected output, like how you are expecting. Okay, you can say full analysis in bullet points. You can also say I'm expecting JSON format or some other formats. If at all you're having some kind of use case where you want a specific table format, okay, some kind of table format, you can mention that like I want the output in table format or something like that. It will do that. And which agent is responsible to do this task? That is research agent. Because right now, see, you can also do like this. You can also keep this agent blank because you can also, if you're having multiple agents and multiple tasks, you can also make delegation where it can automatically delegate the tasks. But here, what we are doing here is we are having an agent and a task. And what it is doing is you are assigning this task to this researcher agent. Okay. But you can also do something like to automatically assign the task to different agents automatically. That is different. Let's not talk about that. That is comes under multiple agents. But we are having a single agent, right? So we are creating a single task. Okay, and you're assigning that task to the agent. Okay, so this is a task. Now you have created an agent and also you have created a task. Now you have to create the crew. Crew is nothing but the final step. That is the like a group of people, group of agents. So in crew, what happens is you have to give the task which you want to do. Okay, and the process. Process is sequential. What is process sequential is nothing but like to do things sequentially. So this one will understand when you're working with multi agents. Okay, so here you can see the process. We already imported this process, and then you're having one process sequential. You're also having something called as hierarchical. Hierarchical is something when you're having manager agent. Like in a company, you might have manager and you might have group of employees. Manager is something who will assign the task to employees. Like that also you can create. That is hierarchical. But right now we are not creating an hierarchical framework. Right now we'll see sequential. Okay, later on we'll explore about hierarchical also. Okay. So a crew is something which has the task, which has the tasks and the process. Here later on, you can also mention, if you're having multiple agents, you can also mention agents and the tasks here itself. It can do by itself, but right now we are not doing that because you're having a single agent. Okay. So crew is nothing but you're giving just the task and the sequential process, and then you're asking it to start. Kickoff means it will start. Okay. This is a crew, and you will start. It will ask to start. Start means kickoff. Just to simply say crew.kickoff, it will start and it will give the output. Okay. So this is the thing. So whenever you are creating an agent in Crew AI, first you should have an agent. Okay. And it should have the designated task. Okay. The tools you want to give. Okay. The description and everything. Okay. So any questions in this part? Any questions in this part? Anyone understood this? Understood this concept? So description is nothing but what task the agent should do. That's it. Okay. What task? I mean, the description you are giving in the task, right? So what task it should do is a description. You can describe you about the task. That is description. That's it.
So basically, that is the task which we are assigning to the
Correct.
agent.
Correct. Correct. Exactly.
Okay.
The task which you
So
are
the
assigning to
same task will be automatically done by the agent multiple times when we call the task.
you can change the task. See, if you are like, why do you want to do multiple times, right? We don't want to do multiple times, right? So if you want to, like, once you got the this task output, maybe I want to change the task right now. Your task can be dynamic.
Okay.
Yeah, task can be dynamic.
Okay, and then it'll if we give a task, my only sorry, I'm getting confused probably.
That's okay.
If we give a task description, then it will be a
Hmm.
generic AI. It cannot be a agentic AI, right? Because we have a static task now where
Why
the
is
agent
status
is.
task? You can change this right whenever you want.
But okay, that again we need to go to code and change it.
If you want, you can also send this from UI.
Prompt. Okay,
Hmm.
we can do it
See,
from.
because we are writing in a code, we don't have any UI right now. That is the reason we are, keeping it like this.
Okay,
But
got it. Yeah.
if you, if you, what we say,
We can take the task as a prompt as well. Got it.
yeah, exactly.
Okay. Okay.
Exactly. You can make it dynamic. So
Thank you. Got it.
because
Yeah.
you're doing in a single code, you are doing it like this, but
Yeah.
you can make the task dynamic.
Yep.
Maybe,
Thank you.
maybe,
One basic
yeah,
question,
fine.
Abhishek, I have in QA.
Yeah.
Okay, so in QA, we create the agents based on some roles and kind of things. What does that mean for the QA? We are not going to use the existing agents and we are going to create the new agents in the QA, right? That's what I do.
Existing
Or
agents.
see, generally predefined agents are there, right? We use the lang chain to, compose that agents and create the framework. But in what make the difference in QA?
In LangChain, I mean in LangChain are we creating? I mean LangGraph we are creating agent, but I didn't get you this point. Like, uh,
Like here you are telling that creating agents, right? We are creating the generally agents are like, okay, predefined ones on which we will use for some purpose for to achieve kind of task.
okay, if we're talking about the predefined agents,
Yeah.
okay. I mean, we are not using a predefined agents. We are defining our own agent for our respective goal and respective task.
Okay, that is what QA is for, right?
Yes, you can build your own agents, correct?
Okay, so
Correct.
building own agents in the QA, we have to use the QA.
Yes, Crew AI, LangGraph,
Oh,
these all are for building agents from. I mean, for your respective tasks in your,
oh,
in your
okay,
respective
so
things, you can use this Crew AI for that.
okay, so when we go for this QA, when the existing agency is not working as per
I
our
mean,
use
can you
case,
tell me the example of existing agent?
like a web search agent is there, like
Web
recipe
search is a
agent is
tool. Web search is a tool, not an agent. Because web
yeah,
search
so I'm
doesn't
saying
have
a
intelligence.
recipe,
Web search
recipe
is just
agent is
an
good.
web search is just a tool. That's it. You can see when you do web search, it will give you some random information. This is a searched information from the internet, but this is not the
Yeah,
output of LLM model. Or this doesn't have an intelligence. It's just a tool. That's it.
yeah. In PyData, we see the agents. Right? There are different
PyData
agents
is
which
not again PyData doesn't have any predefined agents. In PyData also we can use you can actually build agents. And
okay,
PyData other name is Agno. I mean recently they have changed it. PyData they changed it to Agno. You can see I wrote it here. In
okay,
PyData also we'll be building agents from scratch. I mean you'll not use any predefined agents. I mean you're having predefined agents, but they are very limited. I mean there also you should you know uh, like define everything.
if we want to use for our use case or project where we will get these agents and all. Okay, is there any like for example you take the LLM models, right? We find in the Hugging Face and GPT models. Okay,
Yeah,
so in a case model, we can download that LLM and we can work as per use case. Like that,
correct.
if I want to go for agents in our project, okay, so where
Mhm.
generally we look into that.
Yeah,
Yeah, generally where we will look the agents, okay, existing agents. Is there any
I didn't
specific
get your question actually completely. Can you?
Yeah, yeah. If I want to use the agent for my use case, Okay. So where I have to look into that? Is there any specific website or is there anything?
I'm just showing you, Creo AI is the here one of, if you see, uh, it depends upon the flexibility you're having and also the, how much you can actually work on. So Creo AI is one of the leading frame. If you want, I mean, it also, it's like an experimental phase. Sometimes for your tasks, Creo AI might not be enough. You want something which is, you want to code from scratch, then you can go for LangGraph, because in LangGraph you can actually do more. You can do more coding in more scratch. I mean, you can actually build things in a more, uh, uh, you know, more deeper way. So then you can go for LangGraph. And if you want to find out how to do that, documentation. That is the reason I'm showing this to you. How to look into the website, for example, agent. So here, if I just scroll down, here you'll be having what are the parameters, LLM agent should be given, role, goal, backstory, LLM rules, max iteration, function calling if you want. All these kinds of parameters you can give. Got it? You can also give this role like this also, like a YAML file, or you can also mention in the code. Yeah. So you can just look into the documentation. In documentation, you have everything.
Okay. Yeah. Got it. Thank
The
you.
only thing is documentation. That is the reason for any, not only this, for any kind of use case, documentation is the main important thing. You should always focus on documentation, and that is the reason I'm just showing the documentation and showing. Fine. So now you are doing the task, and now let's do the kickoff. Okay. Let's start the create to perform this task. Okay. So I'll just run this, and now you can see the agent senior analyst is working. Okay. And it is task. The task is to. So now it's starting the process. You can see what is the output. You can clearly see. It will task is to conduct a comprehensive analysis of latest. This one is a task given to the agent. So now it is thinking. So that is how the agent works. First it thinks before doing anything. It will think. Okay. So let's see what the agent has thought first. Okay. The agent has thought that to begin my analysis, I need to gather the latest information on the advancement of AI in 2020. I'll use the DuckDuckGo search tool to find the most recent articles, research papers, and news updates on the topic. So it is first thinking about that. Okay, that is the main point here. Thought. So the agent, whenever it is doing a task, whenever it has to do a task, first it will have the thought. It is also, this is also called as kind of, there is one framework called as React. Okay, I'll talk about that later on. Let's not deep dive into the framework called as React. React is, you know, uh, that is the same framework which you're talking about. That is the reasoning and the action. But let's not worry about that directly. But what happens is whenever the agent starts working, first it will think. Okay, directly it will not start doing that. Yeah, it will first think what I should do. Okay, that is what we also do, right? First it thought. Okay, so it will say that okay, it is thinking because based on the tools it is available, it will take okay, I will use the search tool to find out the most recent articles and research papers. So now it will start using this tool. Okay, it says using tool DuckDuckGo search. Now search, now tool input. Now this tool input, it is automatically giving. See, we are not giving any tool input like search query. We are not giving it automatically. It is to the tool DuckDuckGo search. It is automatically giving the input. AI advancement 2025. That is a query. It is automatically giving because here we mentioned the tool as search query. So what happens is the search query is automatically given by the, I didn't wrote anywhere, right? AI advancements 2025. How it is doing? Because it is having that intelligence. Okay, because my task is to do the task on AI. So I'm AI advancement of 2025. So it is doing that search query AI advancement 2025. Then tool output. This is the tool output. See, this is not this still the LLM has not generated anything. This is the tool output. Tool output means what? The output of the search, DuckDuckGo search, right? That is the rapid advancement and all those random, random information it got from the search. Now again, the analyst is working for us, right? So this kind of thing is not happening in LLM, right? In LLM, it is just give a question, give an answer, that's it. But here there is a kind of a React framework. React framework means, now I'll talk about React framework. What is React framework? There is a framework called as React. Means reasoning and action. So the agents are in the backend of agents. You will be having this framework already built. So what it does is, first it will, reasoning means think. First it will think. Then based on the thought, it will perform the action. LLM will directly perform action. It will not do any kind of, it will think, but not deeply. But the React is something which will first think and perform. So first it thought that it has to use the tool DuckDuckGo search. That is the first thought. It has used the tool. It has searched the query. It is searching the query. Then it got the result from the tool. Then using the tool, now you can see the second thought. Okay. Now the search results, you can see this is a thought by the LLM. That is the brain of LLM, right? Thought. First it has to think. Okay. So now if you want to create, see here we are using something called as a Crew AI, which is all this thought and everything is already inbuilt in the Crew AI, means what it has to do. But if you want to build your own agentic AI, then you have to give this all prompts to LLM, that you have to first think, then answer, then think and answer. Like that you have to provide, but it is already there in Crew AI. That is the difference. Okay. So now thought is, the search result provide a broad overview of advancements in AI 2025, key trends, including all these things, augmented working, real-time decisions, and all those things. Now there is only emphasis on generative AI model selection. However, you can see now, still it is not, happy. Are you seeing this, everyone? Still it is not happy. It says, however, I need more specific information, because I told you what I told the backstory, that you have to dissect complex data. It has to dissect it. So it knows that it has to dissect. So now it says that I'm not happy. Not happy means it's already happy, but it says that still I need more information. So again, it is thinking and saying that, however, I need more specific information to create a comprehensive analysis, because I told it to give a comprehensive analysis, right? So I'll perform another search. You can see that is what the autonomous is all about. Here it is automatically searching whatever it want. Okay. This LLM cannot do this. This is what the difference between LLM and agent. Okay. So I will perform another search focusing on each of this trend individually. Like it is looking into the augmented working, real-time decision making, right? Advanced AI legis. These kind of topics it is looking into. Okay. Like it says, I will perform the another search focusing on each trend individually to get more detailed information. Now again, you can see, again it is using DuckDuckGo search tool. Again, it is trying. Okay. It is now, previously the query was AI advancement of 2025, but now the query is augmented working AI 2025. So it is just changing its query to get more information. Now it got some information. Now again it is thinking, thought. So it got some information. Based on this information, again it's now the search results highlights the rise of agentic AI, autonomous systems, and that shifting from so and so, so and so, so and so. Now it says what companies, now it is AI is not replacing jobs, but empowering professionals to work efficient. Okay, that is fine. Now companies that embrace, okay, fine. Now you can see the next one. Now I'll search more information on the real-time decision making of AI. It is again searching. It is going again searching real-time decision making AI after the notification. It again got the output. See, it's not like a simple LLM which just do a simple random output. It is thinking. Still the output is, still we didn't got the output. This is the process, right? It is thinking. Okay. Again we got, okay. So it is just having something. Again it is thinking. Again it got something. So you can say advanced AI legislation, thinking. It got some sustainable AI. It is asking about sustainable AI. Then finally it is also, doing some things. It is getting the answer, and finally it gives the answer. You can see. Okay. So it also, I guess it is extending some limit. So I guess there is some limit to the extent. Okay, fine, that's okay, because it is extending the context length also, because a lot of memory now. It is doing a lot of research. So finally it gives some answer saying that as of 2025, AI is the fastest and all those things. Now, if you want to print this output, you can just print output.raw and you got the output, like as of AI is so and so you got it. So like this, what you are doing, agent is trying to do a deep research. Like it's not a basic research, right? It is doing a deep research looking at every small aspects of the outputs and accordingly performing the task. Okay. Now, if I run this again, this time the output will be different because LLM is all about that, right? The output is always changing. Now you can see the search query is this. Again, it is doing some search, and now I got another output. So I guess now the output is more better. Yeah. So you can see AI landscape in 2025. I got the outputs in a better way. So like this, it will just do lot of research for you. Okay. This is a simple, example of how agents are now becoming so intelligent and more better and more autonomous, because of the main change in this autonomous is the thought. It can think. Whenever you are giving the tools access with the thought, that is a game changer, right? So that is what you're seeing here. Okay. And it is giving the results. Okay. So that is the main difference between a normal AI and here whatever I'm showing is a very small example, like a very simple example. Hello world, I can say hello world of AI cartoon. We can do very, very complex tasks because I just gave a simple tool for this. But if you just go through this documentation, you can do many, many advanced tasks. Like it is also having lots of tools access also, right? It is also having lots of tools access. So you can do a lot of stuff. If you just go to these tools, you can just give a PDF to it. It can search in the PDF RAG. It can perform something called as agentic RAG. Like the RAG, right? What is RAG? But you can do something called as agentic RAG, where it is not only just search what is in the tool, but it can think and find out relevant data in better way. So agentic RAG you can build, right? You can also do CSV RAG search, JSON RAG search, text RAG search, XML RAG search. A lot of tools. Yeah. Make sense? Understood, everyone? This one. Any questions? Any questions as of now? Got it.
So, Abhishek, one question. So, nowhere we mentioned in the code saying that, it has to search so many times, no loop, anything as such. It
That
keeps
is the idea of
searching.
agent.
Yeah, it keeps searching until it feels by itself that, it has find a better
Yes.
result.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. That is the idea. But you can also limit that. You also have that option. Like if you want to limit the number of times it has to run, there is an option in this one. I guess that option is limit itself. Let me search the documentation. We can you can see, or you can like you can configure how many times it has to run. Somewhere here it will be there in the agent only. Wait, in the agent.
Config. There is one word called config. No? Okay.
Wait 1 second. Yeah, here one thing you're having is maximum request, maximum execution time you can focus on. Also 1 second, there should be one maximum retry limit. Okay, how many times you can try? This is one retry limit one. And also you have one more thing. There are a lot of parameters. You can just look into that. Cruise. Maximum request. Yeah, this one only. Maximum request is one. You can have.
Okay.
Request per minute. You can just avoid that. Like that, you can just try to limit the QA in that. I mean, we can just stop running so many times also if you want. Okay.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah. Sometimes what happens is there is a chances of maximum reasoning attempts. Where did you find it? That is also one important thing. Somewhere you can where did you find it? Reasoning attempts. That is exact one which I'm looking for. And where did your flows are? Okay. But we are not using flows as of now. Flows is a different concept again. Okay, somewhere you can find that because so many parameters, it's difficult to remember them. That's okay. So or maybe in the processes, not in the processes, of course. Yeah, but yeah, we can limit it. I've done it because I didn't remember it somewhere. I've done it. I forgot the exact parameter name. But yeah, we can limit it. We can limit the number of calls you can do, because sometimes what happens is, because of its more higher intelligence, it can go on, doing a lot of like a loop. It will just go on trying a lot of times sometimes. So you can just limit it. Like you can just here it is. Yeah, got it. So yeah, so this is the maximum reasoning attempt. This is what I'm just looking for. Yeah, this is what you can just give it. Like you can tell how many times you can see. If none, it will try until ready, right? Or else you can just give maximum number of before executing the task, before executing the task. So yeah, so that is important because um, what happens is, whenever you don't, whenever sometimes there might be a continuous loop kind of thing. Okay. Uh, yeah, I mean, I'm not sure about Java, Ashok, whether we are having this kind of frameworks or not, because I didn't use Java for this kind of thing. But yeah, Python, yes, because Java also we have JavaScript frameworks we're having, but not sure. Maybe you can just search in the internet, like AI agent framework using Java. JavaScript, yes, JavaScript we have, but Java, I don't know. No, I mean, I've not used it. Okay. Hmm. So, without any further delay, let me show you one more example of the another example of using a image tool. Okay, this time I'll not be creating a custom tool. I'll be using a predefined tool in the Preview itself that is called as DALI tool. Now, if you want to use this tool, you can just go to documentation again. You can see in this documentation, you can clearly see, if you just go to the tools, in the documentation of the Crew AI, if you just go to the tools, here you'll be having something called as AI and machine learning. And if you click on this, there is something called as DALI tool. Now, DALI is what means? DALI is a model by the OpenAI to generate images. Okay, DALI is a OpenAI model. It's a, as you can see, it's a powerful tool designed for generating images from the textual description. So we are using this tool right now to generate the images from a text. Okay, we'll just give some random task to generate the image, and it will generate the LLM will use the tool to generate the image. DALI tool. Like that, you're having a lot of tool. Like you can see, you're having in the AI and machine learning, you're having LangChain as a tool. If you're having a LangChain ready LangChain code, and if you want to use it, you can make LangChain itself as a tool to do that. Here you can see there is something called a search tool. You search in the Google. This is something which search in the Google. Okay, we'll see this later on. And next you are having RAG tool. If you are using LangChain for RAG, so RAG tool, um, RAG is nothing but the retrieval augment generation, right? Code interpreter tool, which understands your code and it will interprets your code. So these kind of tools you're having, you can just go through this. Now let's use DALI tool and show you once. So it's very easy. So I'm just into AI importing DALI tool. Okay. Then what I will do is I'm creating a simple LLM again, and I'm creating an agent. And agent is nothing but the role of the agent is the role is a visual storyteller. Okay. We're having a story, and it will visually represent that story. Okay. That is a agent role. I call it as an artist. You can call this agent as an artist or a visual storyteller or something like that. Okay, the role is that. Now, the goal is the goal of this agent to inspire, empower, and amplify human creativity through the language of visual art. Okay, through the language of visual art, it will try to do this thing. Now, backstory is an expert capable of turning thoughts, emotions, words into captivating visuals. He is an expert who is responsible to emotions and words into captivating visuals, like that. Okay, role, goal, and backstory to generate an image. And the tool I'm giving is and the purpose. Simple. And also the task. Task is like I'm just giving a small story. The story can be dynamic. I'll also show you how can you make it dynamic. Right now, that is our next step. But just observe the task. I'm saying that a dream like city floating in a sky with rivers of light flowing, blah, 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 blah. I'm just giving some random information to generate the task. And I'm saying expected output is an high resolution image. That's it. Okay. So there's a description. That is a task which I'm giving the agent. It will do that, and this agent will do this. That's it, very simple. And the kickoff, that's it. Now let's wait. Visual storyteller, you can see task is a dreamlike city floating in the sky with rivers of floating, flowing between the buildings made of glass and random, something. So let's wait for it to generate. Let's see how it will generate the image. Now it has thought. Okay, to create the desired visual representation, I will leverage the capabilities of DALI tool by providing a detailed description. Okay, so DALI, now it will automatically provide this description to DALI. Okay, and then DALI will give us a result. You can see I got the two output, and the final answer is this. It will give a image URL. The final answer is this. You can just click on the image right next. So if you just simply say,
Sorry, Ashok, can you go on mute, please?
process.
okay, fine. So if I just simply say output.raw, you can see you got the image URL which was generated. Okay. So if I just click on this, you can see the image, right? So you got some, image which represents the way and the image which I was talking about. Yeah, this is the generated image by the AI. Okay. Simple DALI tool for generating. Okay. Same thing, but just differences. I used a different tool and different agent for doing this. Okay. Now what we'll do is let's start working with a multi-agent framework. Okay. Now till now we have used two agents, right? One agent is doing a research for us on a topic, maybe on AI, and another agent who is generating an image. Now what I will do is I'll combine these two agents, whatever two agents I've built here, I'll just combine these two agents and I'll create a sequential multi-agent framework. And here what I will do is in this multi-agent framework, so it will be very interesting. So have a look. So in this multi-agent framework, what I'll do is first agent will research for me. Okay. So I'm having one task where I need to research and I need to get some output. But I also need an image on that research. Imagine I need the image on that research. So what I will do is first I'll be having one agent who is responsible to research on a specific topic. Okay. And get some insights on the research. Next, I'll be having one more agent who will be responsible for giving an image on that insights, on whatever insights I got from the agent, from the first agent. Okay. The second agent will take that information automatically from the first agent and give me an image. Okay. So it is just not a static task now, right? So it will take the insights. It is responsible to take the insights. I mean, the task is to generate the image, but what it has to generate, it will get it from the first agent. First agent will send the insights to the second agent, and the second agent will generate that respective image. So I need the research output and also the image output. Okay. So let's see how can we do this. Okay. How can we build a multi-agent framework? And ultimately, I need both. I need a research output and image output. Both I need. Okay. And I'm having a two dedicated agents for that. Chalo. So if you see now the code, coming to the code part. So first, as usual, I already have the researcher agent, so I'm not creating it again. And I also have the artist agent, so I'm again not creating it. Okay, just I'm having two agents separately. One is researcher and one artist. I'm not creating another agent again. But task I will change. I'll just say for researcher task, same thing, like conduct. Of course, you can just make this dynamic. This task you can make it dynamic. Maybe if you want to research on any other task underscore, I'll say RE research. Maybe if you want to have a different task, you can mention here. Okay, only for task you can mention like for on which topic you want to research on. You can mention that here. Like, okay, then you are creating the task because agent is already there. I'm not recreating the agent. Observing this, right? Agent is already there. Task I have to recreate because obviously my task is changing or I'm creating a different task. I have to create the task. Agent will be already there. Okay. So task I'm recreating. I'm giving a dynamic task. Then here I am giving a different task for the artist. This time I'm saying create a visual representation of research content with the text displayed on the image to enhance the understanding. Okay. So what I'm saying is whatever research you got from the previous agent, that is the task, because The research agent will send the research, whatever it has done, analysis to the uh, artist agent, right? So whatever output it has sent, this agent, this artist agent has to create a visual understanding of that, visual representation of that content, okay? Such that it will be more easy. Basically, when you're creating a PPT or whenever you want to, explain this in a better way, you will use a image representation like that. So I'm using this research agent to do that. Now I am just starting, I'm creating a crew. Now you look at the crew. In crew, you have two agents. One is research agent and the artist agent. And you're having two tasks. One is the research task and the task artist task. And here I'm using sequential process yet. Still I'm using a like sequential process. Now why I'm using sequential process? Because first here I don't need to do the process parallelly or there is no hierarchical needed. First, it should be sequential. Means first, researcher agent should research the task and give it to the and generate the insights, and that insights should be given to the task artist. So that is what sequential is. Sequential means one after other. First agent means both cannot work parallelly, right? Or they cannot work randomly also. Like first artist agent will work, then research agent. No, they want to work, they should be sequential nature. Means first researcher means artist, it's like a dependency task. Generally you'll be having dependency on kind of that. Okay, so first artist agent like first researcher agent will generate the this one for you, and the artist agent will give the image for you. Okay, so like that I'm having two agents, two tasks, and right now I already here I'm dedicating researcher agent for the researcher task and artist agent for the artist task. But you can also make it dynamic. That is where delegation concept comes here. But if you have a delegation concept, you should also have something called as manager element. Because you should have a without manager, they will get confused, like whom to assign what. All right. So you should have a manager who can assign specific tasks to specific people. Okay. I'll talk about that also. We'll include the manager LLM soon. Also include the manager task, manager delegation. But for now, let's keep it like this. Let's see what happens. Let's see without manager with sequential. Now let me kick off this. Okay, I'm creating the crew which has the agents and the task and the sequential process. Okay. Now let's kick off this crew. Let's start the process and let's see how it works. Okay. So this is how you can have a multi-agent framework. Okay, multiple agents, task and researcher, and who is doing multiple tasks. Okay, respective tasks. But if you want to make it dynamic, like I don't want to assign this task manually, you should have a manager for it, right? Who will responsible for assigning the tasks. Okay, now let's kick off. Okay, so now in the kickoff, you can see first the senior analyst agent is working for us. He is conducting a deep analysis. Let's wait for his analysis to complete. Yeah, he's thinking again. Now the research analysis agent is done. Okay, got the final answer, I guess. Yeah, research analysis agent has given us the final answer. Now immediately visual storyteller is coming to us. Where is this? Yeah. Now the next thing is after the research analysis agent is completed, immediately the visual storyteller is working for us. He's telling, okay, the task, create a visual representation of research content within the task. So thought I need to create a compiling visual representation. You can see explanation that provide all the information about AI trends, because how it knows that I didn't mention it anywhere to create about AI trends, right? But how it knows, because it has understood from its fellow agent. It has got that output. It has taken that output internally from the fellow agent, and it is trying to do that accordingly. Okay, so it is taking about AI trends and development. I'll use DALI tool to generate this image. This picture should represent the advancement in AI, like real-time decision making, generate video, quantum AI. So all these points it has got from this. Okay, all these points it has got from this, and accordingly it will try to, take that information. So you can see and also highlight crucial. So this is the thought, and it is automatically creating the description for the tool. I mean, for what it has to do. Like from this output, it will try to create a description, and now you can see it got the output. So final answer is this. Okay. So if you see the now image, yeah, you can see the entire image. Also, it is having some text like agentic innovations, all the AI. Of course, the image is not so good in the form of text, but okay. I mean, it's good. It's good. It's not so bad also. So you can see a agentic, this one. And if you want to take this out, you can just simply say result. Sorry. Now, if you actually print this result, in this result, you'll be having two tasks. Okay. You'll be having two tasks, two outputs actually. One is the image, and also you have the trends. Okay, like the this is the output, right? Output we want the comprehensive analysis, this one, right? So we'll do one thing. We'll say create or result dot. So if you call that result dot tasks output, you will get two tasks output. You're having two tasks, right? So you can just do a for loop here because you're doing two tasks here. You can simply say for each task, okay, in result dot task output. Now you can print each task. Now you'll be getting, so you're having multiple tasks, right? You can get the output of each task. Or if you want to take the output of last task, you can take it. If you want to take the output of last task, then you can just simply say result dot and you'll be getting only the image because that is the last task. But if you want the output of every task, because you're doing multiple subtasks, right? So if you want to get the output of each task, you can do like this for each task. The first result is this, and the second result is this. Okay. Each task output you got. First result is getting a sub points on the research. Second result is image representing that. Okay. Both task output you got. So like this, you can work with multi-agent framework in Creo AI. Got it? Got it, everyone? Understood the concept of how to create a multi-agent framework using Creo AI? Yes. Any questions? Now, what if I want to create a manager element and I don't want to, assign tasks accordingly? Okay. So then what we can do is we can remove this agent here. Okay. And also we can remove this agent. Okay. I'm not assigning tasks to specific agents. And here what I will do is I will convert this process to hierarchical. Okay. Now it is not sequential, hierarchical. And for hierarchical, we should have something called as manager LLM. Okay. So who is a manager LLM? It's a LLM who is responsible to assign the tasks. Okay. Because we are not actually giving that here we are not giving the agent the task. The LLM, the manager itself will decide who is the best agent to do the task, right? So let me create a manager LLM here. A manager LLM can be any OpenAI model or any model again, any LLM model. Okay, so let me create one LLM model for this. Maybe this one only I'll create for now. You can use same LLM or you can use a different LLM. It's completely your wish. Let's not worry about that. And here, one more thing is you should also mention allow. There is one parameter called as allow delegation. Allow. I guess that is not correct. Let me see the exact parameter is allow delegation. Just a second. Great. Crews. Crews. Okay, fine. Okay. I guess the allow delegation is not required. Okay, fine. So you can just do this. Let me see if it works or else we'll do some changes required. Okay. Right. So now let me run this. Okay. Let's wait. Let's wait until it works. Okay, so you can see automatically the senior analyst is taking the job of this one. See, I didn't mention the agent anywhere, right? So automatically senior analyst took a job of this one. Then okay, got the answer. It is doing some research. So then the visual storyteller has took the agent. So like that, okay, who is responsible? So you can have a hierarchical process also, where the manager will decide, like automatically it will assign. But whenever you are doing this, compulsory you have to use manager as well. Now, if I just use sequential process, for example, imagine I'm just doing sequential process. I'm not doing manual process. Then what happens is it will throw an error, I guess. Mostly it will throw an error that you have to compulsory do this. Wait, what? Rule out. We got it. Let's see this image right now. New image. Oh, nice. Fine. Okay, so cool. I guess we got this. But we'll show. I just want to show you one thing. Uh, if I remove the manager element, or if I just put the output as sequential, okay, and if I run this again, so you can see manager agent should not have tools. So, or wait, you can see a sequential process agent is missing. You can see now, because whenever you're using a sequential process, you should compulsory mention agent in the task. Getting my point? Now you have removed the agent in the task. So it throws an error saying that agent is missing in the task, because whenever you are using the sequential, compulsory you have to mention agent in the task. Whenever you're using hierarchical, you should have manager. Okay, who is responsible for that? Okay, so like that you will be having this compulsory issues. I mean you should accordingly work on that. Okay, make sense? Clear, everyone? Okay, so this is how the Crew AI works. A lot of things are there in Crew AI. I mean, you're having something called as flows and everything. Let's not deep dive into that as of now. I'll just show a glance of how to work with LangGraph also. Just a glance. I mean, just a simple idea. It will not take much time, and then we can leave for today. Maybe in the next session, we'll talk about the deep dive. We'll go into deep dive of LangGraph, and we'll do some more use cases on the Agentic AI. I mean, some more things. So coming to the LangGraph part, LangGraph is something like graph-based architecture. Okay, and the advantage of LangGraph is you can actually create agents which can do tasks. Okay, and also you can create a flow based, like you can create, like how do we have sequential process, here also we can have sequential process, but here we can provide our sequence in our own wish, I mean our own manner. We can add conditional edges and all those things. Okay, we can have add something like our own flow. Here it is automatic. I mean, here you are also doing the same thing, but here you can actually do it in a more better way. I'll show you. So here we are importing the required libraries like LangChain, LangGraph, and all those things. And you are having something called as state. In LangGraph, state is nothing but to maintain memory. Okay. So state is used to maintain memory. To maintain memory. Like between the agents, when you are building multiple agents, if you want to, send a memory or send information between the agent, you can send through state. In this state, you have to mention what all parameters you're having. Now I'm creating a research agent. You will research and write an article for me. Two agents I'm having. One is research agent who will research about a topic, and you can see topic is dynamic. Topic I'm sending like in the state, and also write something for me based on that research. So that variables have to provide in the state. So state is something like a memory which maintains information and which can send between the agents. Okay. So I'm having three variables here: topic, which talks about which topic I have to work on in the agent, I mean research agent, research, and article. So whatever I've done in the preview AI, I'm doing the same thing in LangGraph. And here also we'll be having LLM, obviously, as usual. But here we are using LLM using LangChain, because LangGraph and LangChain both are, you know, behind LangGraph, you're having LangChain. So we'll be using the LangChain framework here. Then you're creating two agents. One is research agent, and I'm creating a simple prompt like research the topic, provide a concise summary. That's it. And I'll invoke this and get the output. Okay. Then I'm having a writer agent who take that research from the researcher agent and write it for us. Okay. Write some good article for us. Okay. That is the article output. Then you are building the graph. In this graph, what happens is first you'll visualize the graph by giving the agent state. Agent state is nothing but your memory. Then you will add nodes. These are called as nodes basically. Research agent, and these are called as nodes. Okay. So I'm adding two nodes. One is the research agent and the writer agent. Okay. Nodes is nothing but your, I mean, basically in a graph, I told you this is the graph structure, right? This is how the flow work. Each box is called as node. If you work with random forest, in random forest, that box is called as node, right? In the same way, when you are creating the graph, these are called as nodes. So you're creating two nodes. One is research node and the writer node. Then you are creating the graph. You are building the graph. In this graph, you'll be having a start point, which starts something. I mean, you can also see the display of how the graph is. So I'll show you that. Okay, the start point. Now it starts with research agent. First, research will start. The research agent will start doing the research. Then the research agent will send that information to writer. So you can just connect that also. These kind of connections also you can do. The research agent will do the research and send it to writer agent. And after writer, it is end. So like this, you can build a simple graph. This is how the graph start, do research agent, then a writer, and then end. So that's how it works. Okay. Then you're compiling the graph, and you can also display the graph like this. Okay. Using the IPython display, you can display the graph. Start, we'll do the research, send the research to the writer, and end. Then after that, you can just give a topic as input. Maybe I'll say give a topic on quantum computing, and you can just simply say graph.input and give the topic. The graph will run now. I mean, the agents will run internally. Actually, you can also see how the agents are running. Actually, you can just mention somewhere purpose is equal to true. I'll just show that somewhere in the that we can mention. Okay, we'll see that later. And then after that, if you just get the final output, you can see in the final state, you'll be having the entire information, like what article it has written on quantum computing. So if you just simply say final state.article, now how I'm saying article, because from the writer agent, the output is present in the article. I'm sending like in the article. The article is a state. So you can see between the agents, you're communicating with help of state. And for every agent, you are sending the state as the argument, right? So state will have the memory. Okay, state will have the memory, and it will communicate between the agents. Like for example, what topic? So that is present in state. Then the research done by the researcher agent. That is the research. Then that research will be sent it to the writer agent. Okay. Now this is not a React framework, but here you can also create in LangGraph also you can create a React framework. I'll show you later on how to do that. There is something called as React agent. This is not a React framework. Just it will just do the research and give the right. That's it. Okay. And then it will do this task. And here also we can give the tools. Right now I'm not showing the tools for you, but we can also give the tools here. I'll show you how can we give the tools later on in the LangGraph. But I'm just showing the basic idea of LangGraph, and then finally invoke it and it will invoke. So I'm just showing how the LangGraph graph will be first, because it's slightly complex. LangGraph is slightly complex. So first I'll do the basic output, then I'll show you how to integrate tools, how to create advanced graphs, how to make a React framework like reasoning and thought framework. All these things we'll see later on because we're having that. And finally, you can see the article. This is the article we got. Okay. The simple LangGraph framework, LangGraph simple thing where you can just, build a simple research and writer. Okay. Simple, just for understanding sake. Okay. So you're creating two functions which are acting like research and writer agent, and you're just creating a simple graph. That is how the land graph works. Land graph is like a flow-based structure. Okay. Now, whenever you're creating a graph, whichever nodes you want to use, compulsory you have to add in add node, or else it will not work. Okay. First, you have to add the nodes, which nodes you want to use, and then build the graph. So here we are building the graph basically. Here where we are building the graph, and graph will have start point and the end point. And the graph is nothing but the flow, how the flow should be. Here I'm just showing a simple flow, but you can also create a complex flows. And this is nothing but initializing the graph with the nodes, what type of nodes you're having, the graph, and what are these. Okay. And this is the agent. Agent can be in the form of functions, and it's also mentioned. I mean, whatever it is returning, compulsory it should return a dictionary only, and that whatever it is returning, that should be in the state compulsory, that variable. Okay. For example, research is in the state, article is in the state, because it will store in the state as a memory. Okay. And you're compiling the graph and you're displaying the graph. This is how the graph looks, and you're running the graph. That's it. Okay. This is how the land graph works. Basic thing, but we'll do advanced things later on. I hope you got an idea, right? Understood the concept of land graph? Any questions in this code? You can let me know.
So land graph contains that agents, model, LLM models, and any
You are
React
giving it here now. LLM.invoke. Here you are creating a LLM and you are giving it. And the prompt itself is a task for the agent here. The prompt itself is the task.
Okay. Yeah, land graph is mainly used for the agents, or it can be
Agent only. Agent only for creating agents.
Okay, you said
In
that
the form of graph structure.
yeah, we can use the React also, right? We can use the React.
Right now, this is not React. This is just a simple one. But if you want to use React, in the agent, you have to configure that React. See, in Crew AI, React is by default. Okay. In Crew AI, agents are having by default. But I told you now, land graph is something we have to code from scratch. Here we are writing. See, here we are using a predefined agent function, which is having React framework inbuilt, reasoning and thinking. But here we are not using any function. Here we are defining our own function. Observe.
Yeah.
So land graph is something which we can do from scratch. Okay. We can which we can which will have more control. Okay, and which we can do from scratch. And here we have to write the React by manually. It is not by default React. It will, if you use your right now, what happens is it will just return the research and send it to writer agent and it will write it. That's it. Simple, graph based. But if you want to have React here, then we have to code accordingly. That is the reason land graph is something where you have to build things by yourself. But in Crew AI, most of things are already there. Okay. So if you want to have more flexibility in your coding, I mean more flexibility in your application, then you can use land graph. Or if you want to make it simple, use Crew AI like that. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll show you one more example of a Crew AI. I'll not explain the code right now, but show an example. Okay. This is example of a Crew AI which actually perform RAG, especially corrective RAG. Okay. So here you can see the graph how it looks. Let me show the graph without showing the code first. Yeah, the graph is simple. Like this, you can build a complex graph also. You can see. Okay. Now this graph, if you see starts, set the states, retrieve the documents, and then grade the documents first. If the documents are good, fine. Or else this is called as a conditional edge. It will transform the query, again go back, do something, again come back. Like this, you can make it more, this everything you have to code now. This whatever graph I've created, I've coded here. You can see I've written it everything by manually. That is what LangGraph is. LangGraph provides more flexibility to do a lot of manipulations. But QAI is already inbuilt. That is the difference. Okay. Now, what to use when means again, if you want more flexibility in application, if you want more customization, go for LangGraph. Simple thing, go for QAI. Even if you want to build things, simple things, then go for QAI. Okay. Got it? Makes sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So these are the things I just want to show you. So I guess today we are done for the session. If you have any questions, you can ask me right now. Open for questions.
Hey Abhishek, this is Jalal.
Yeah,
Hope
hi.
I'm audible. Hope I'm audible.
Yes, you're audible.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, Abhishek. I think this was really great session. I have one small question. Like we have some tools like N8 Make.
Yeah.
People are saying we can build agents using that
Yes.
tools, like no code.
Yeah.
But what you are showing is something a little bit advanced.
iCode. Yeah. Whatever I'm showing is iCode actually, but N8 and Make, Langflow, these are all the low code frameworks for building agents.
Okay. So today you have shown that Crew AI, which we can write code to
Yes.
build agents. Okay.
Yeah, QA and LangGraph, which you can write code and build agents.
Understood. Yeah. It also supports MCP protocol. Like,
Yes. Actually, all the framework supports MCP protocol. It should support, or else they'll not sustain. But no one will use frameworks. Yeah, to support MCP.
Understood. Thank you.
So, Abhishek, if
Yeah.
you don't mind, can you share one sample code for N8N in the chat, like you shared the other two, right? Yeah.
N8N actually it's a flow. So
Any low code. Yeah.
okay.
If you have an example, yeah, in your.
So we'll be having another session actually. So in that I will be showing.
Okay. In the meantime, until then, probably if you can just share one. You don't need to explain now. If you can just share one in the chat, we'll try to go through that.
Maybe chat, I guess it is difficult right now. Maybe I'll share through some other source, like I'll share.
That should be fine. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have one sample framework I can directly show you right now. It's simple one. Yeah, this is one example, simple AI agent framework. But I'll see how can I share this with you guys. I guess we can download this flow. So I'll be sharing that maybe later on.
Okay. Oh, so N8N is a tool by itself. It's a portal. You directly logged into the portal and.
Yes.
Okay.
N8N is not a software. You cannot download the software. N8N is a website. Even all these are websites only. These are websites like N8N, Langflow, Global. All these are websites. For example, Langflow, I'll just show you. Now you can see I've just logged into N8N. You can see here we'll be having all the tools. You can just drag and drop. Let me show you an example. Like for example, if I just to use one, memory. So we'll be having all these things. Just click on this. I want MongoDB. Yeah, just click on MongoDB, configure it, and integrate. That's it. MongoDB will be configured. You have to just give the settings and you have to mention all the information, and it will configure like that. Chat model, what I want to use. I just gave the API key also. Here I just give the API key of OpenAI. Okay, so it will just use it, the chat model OpenAI, or you can use any other, model also, chat model, like that. Okay, memory or tools, what tool you want to use. If I click on this tool, you can see what all tools, lot of tools you're having. MCP also you're having. MCP obviously, again that's a different thing. Pin code vector database or whatever tools you want, all these tools you have. Okay, it is just a flow. You can just create online. And coming to the Langflow, also same thing. We just go to Langflow, and if I just go to this Langflow website, you will be having this, site. So you can just log into the using your account, and you can just drag and drop, and you can just print things.
Okay. And how do we use it in our Python code? Probably in our Jupyter notebook
You can actually use the API. I'll show you.
API. Okay.
Example, I'll show you. I mean, once you build the flow, once the flow is
Mhm.
running, you can deploy that flow and use it like a API. I'll show an example just. Yeah, it will take some time. Maybe later on, yeah, the next
Sure.
session.
Yeah. No, got the gist of it. Thank you. Yeah.
Anything else? Anyone?
Yeah, Abhishek, what are the like simple use case like we can start to experiment? Any thoughts on that? Can you share?
So if you just go to the documentation, there are a lot of use cases already provided here. So you can just start with that. That is more easier because in documentation you'll have everything. So if you just quietly scroll down, there are, you know, coding agents. One example, you can see there are a lot of examples. You can just copy and paste this code and test how it is working, you know, and conditional tasks. If you want a specific example, also somewhere there will be there. Image generation with DALL-E. Just now we have done the same thing. Force to full output hierarchical process. These all thing, if you just see, you have that entire example. So you can just look into that and you can, copy and paste it. It will be very easy. You might get some errors, so you should be focusing on solving that errors mainly. Because, for example, if you are using this code, in this there is something called as SERP dev tool. But here to use this, you have to keep an API key. So you have to search like how to generate a API key for server. So like that, you should focus on working on this. Okay.
Understood. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Even in LangGraph also will be having the documentation. You can just have a look into that. LangGraph also has a good documentation. Now, without documentation, no one is sustainable. Okay, because wait, just open it.
Okay, sorry, one last question, probably we're overrunning. So like Agentic AI, are there any other functionalities? Because there is
Like
generic Agentic AI. Is there any other thing similar to Agentic AI?
for
I mean, Agentic AI is a functionality, right?
it's a, we can say it's a concept.
Concept.
Agentic,
Okay.
it's a concept like
In
to do
got it.
things. Yeah.
So is there any other concept similar to Agentic AI?
For
I mean,
learning.
for auto generating the code, or for the task to I mean, redo the things by itself, right? So that's what the agent does, right? So the task will reread the statements
Correct.
and it will try to generate appropriate code, right?
Correct.
So that is the agentic framework, right? So in the similar way, is there any other terminology like agentic
We have,
framework?
yes. We have React reasoning. We have React framework, and also we have something
Okay.
called as like we call it as React. React is one framework. I mean, React doesn't need compulsory agents also. React can be done without agents also. So React is one thing we can say, which is one terminology generally used for automating things.
Okay.
Next, Reflect. Yeah, Reflect is one. Another one. Reflect is like you have a generator, okay, who will generate the task, who will generate the content, and reflector is something who is like a criticize it, like a judge. I mean, if at all it is done a bad, it will criticize and send that feedback back. We call it as reflection agents or reflection. Okay. React is one, reflection is one. Yeah, these are the few other keywords generally used by a lot of people, concepts used. There is also something called as small agents, like SMOL, small. That is also one framework actually. I mean, that is again similar to the React. So yeah, so a lot of things are there. So but we should use according to the use case what is working for us. Okay.
Got it. Good to know. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Then thank you. I guess we are done for today.
Yeah, great session. Thanks, Abhishek.
One last question. Is
Yeah,
the
please.
today's class is a demo for a full course or something, or is it something like a workshop kind of thing? I don't know. I'm sorry I ask about this question, but
I mean, this is kind of a workshop.
Oh, okay. And we will be having a similar workshops like this?
I
or-
mean, yeah, we'll be now for this. We'll be having one more follow. I'll tell you. I mean, you'll get the information soon when we'll be having a similar, follow up session again. We'll tell you mostly about that. But yeah, this is like a workshop, and yeah, maybe that management will plan regarding that. What? But for this, we'll be having one follow, one more to
Okay.
go slightly deeper. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, guys. Thank you then. Let's continue in the next session.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thanks, Abhishek.